back at it again with a quick introduction to GPU mining and the equipment I use within my 2 GPU rigs. Now, I have 12 GeForce GTX 1070 NVIDIA GPUs, 6 EVGA ones and 6 MSI gaming, with 2 of those being X versions, which I don't think there's too much difference with, maybe a pretty slight overclock. But yeah, they pretty much work just as good as each other. I have 2 Z170A SLI motherboards, key for mining with 6 GPUs, and also 5 EVGA power supply units, 2 times 750 watts and 3 times 850 watts. I also have a TP-Link 8 port gigabit switch, 2 Corsair solid state drive 60 gigabytes in size, and 2 Corsair Vengeance DDR4 RAMs 8 gigabytes, and 2 Intel Pentium Cable 8 CPUs, 12 GPU risers, and 1 wireless keyboard and mouse. You see, building a rig was challenging, and if you have zero knowledge of computer hardware, it can definitely be a daunting prospect. Some of the challenges I found were faulty hardware arriving, which had to be returned. There was something wrong with one of the motherboards that I had, which needed to be returned, so I just bought another one and returned the first one I had. The CPU was incompatible with the motherboard, so I had to basically update the BIOS. Kaby Lake and Skylake compatibility should definitely be noted. Even getting Windows loaded up and some settings in the BIOS needed to be changed to allow Windows 10 to boot from the USB. Legacy mode needed to be enabled to allow that. Getting all 6 GPUs running at the same time required crypto mode to be enabled on the BIOS. So sometimes you can have a whole heap of issues why all 6 GPUs are not running, but sometimes you even need to look at the settings on your BIOS itself. And once everything was working, setting up the Claymore miner is the easy part, but overclocking your GPUs to a satisfying energy efficient level sometimes can be time consuming, but once stable, it's definitely a satisfying feeling knowing that everything is working and you are now earning crypto. So you know, some of the tips I have to basically help you get more hash is to make sure that you have a clean install of Windows when you first set up your rig. Make sure that your system tray is empty and all apps are disabled, or you can create another profile to enable this. Update your graphics cards regularly, because after a Windows update I had an issue where the OpenDLL file was not found, and to fix that issue it required you to update the drivers and the actual Claymore miner itself. So that's another tip. Make sure you are running the latest version of the Claymore miner, but also hold on to the older versions. And 5 is the main one, overclocking. Make sure you overclock at a stable level and keep your hardware clean. All the dust might not be good for it, so yeah. Once my rigs have been set up, I can then install the latest Claymore miner, which is downloaded from Nanopool. And you know, I mine Ethereum on this Claymore miner, and how that works is Ethereum network needs a lot of calculations, and hash rate is the way that is measured. So hash rate is pretty much the thing that you see in the left hand side of the screen, with like 31 mega hash, but that's pretty much my computer power, and the amount of data that is hashing at any given time by a machine, that is pretty much used to define what a hash rate is. It's pretty much a unit used to define the amount of calculations made by the machine. And the word mining, that relates to the context of gold mining, understanding how gold is scarce, but so is digital tokens or digital assets like Ethereum or Bitcoin, and plus many others too. The only way to increase the total amount is through mining them. Also, mining is a way to secure the network by creating, verifying and publishing and propagating blocks in the blockchain. So that's pretty much what you are doing when you are using your computer equipment to mine cryptocurrencies. And sometimes you ask yourself, like, how does mining turn into money? So when you mine, you receive a reward. Every block that is mined successfully, there's a reward to the clients involved, and your computer hardware is the client. So pretty much this is paid to you into your wallet address, and can be traded for Bitcoin or any other cryptocurrency using an exchange of your choice. And yeah, I pretty much use MSI Afterburner as my overclocking tool. This tool I find is better than the EVGA version, and yeah, I'm more than happy of what it allows me to do. So I pretty much can, you know, change things like the power limit, the core clock, the memory clock, and I'm able to save the settings to apply to all GPUs or just individual GPUs. And as you noticed, some of my GPUs actually drop in hash rate. So my GPU 1 and GPU 2 drops to 26 quite often, but once I open up MSI Afterburner and apply a profile, it seems to pick up again and then kicks back to, you know, 31 mega hashes. So that's this tool is great. I just love it for what it does and what it allows me to do. When you first get the GPU, it pretty much is on the version I have, which is the MSI 1070s, or the EVGA 1070s, the GeForce GTXs. They pretty much they come at a very moderate hash rate. I think it's like 26. So as you can imagine, as soon as you overclock, I'm managing to get mine above 31. So, you know, the more hash rate you have, the more money you are able to achieve. Looking at ethernanoport.org, you have various screens in which show you the pool hash rate. So that's the total hash rate coming from all the clients, all the miners, and you have network stats which show the difficulty, which is something that's very important when understanding if it is worth it to mine. At the moment, Ethereum is rising in price and the difficulty is getting higher, way higher. So what that then means is it will take longer to mine certain blocks, and the longer it takes, obviously the less profitability you will have. On the left hand side of the screen is my account with the amount of hash rate that I'm providing to Nanopool and the amount of shares. You know, I also have monthly calculators and it lets you know how much you are forecasting for that month. This number changes all the time. It does not stay the same, so it is an extremely rough guide as to what you will achieve. Generally, when I first started mining, the amount of coins I was receiving a month would have been something like 4 or 5 coins, and as the difficulty has gone up and up and up, as the value of the coin has gone up and up and up, the amount of coins I can now mine has dropped. So I'm not complaining, as this is all profit that I'm mining, but if you are looking to get into mining now, it could be something that is, you know, not as profitable as before. It may take you a longer time before you see your return of investment, but I would say it's a very good way to learn about cryptocurrency and a very good way to understand how it actually works. So yeah, I hope you've enjoyed this video, and yeah, just stay trapping that crypto. Thanks for watching.